Hey everybody, Talon here. I know it's been a while since I posted, and I promise there are a lot of videos coming between now and SHOT Show in January. I promised to talk about lasers next, so that's what this video is about. And I wanted to give at least 6 months worth of time actually using my fiber laser before I made a video. So, should you buy a fiber laser? And if you do, should you buy it from SA Laser? Well, after my training back in June, I had the opportunity to interview the owner and founder of SA Laser, and I wanted to show that interview to you now. Full disclosure, there's a couple of like camera focus issues, but I think the information that Fred gives out is well worth a watch. So after the interview, I'll give you my opinion, and with that, here you go. All right. Hey everybody, I'm here at SA Laser, and I've spent the last week here training at SA Laser because I purchased my own fiber laser for engraving. And I'm here with Fred, who's the owner of SA Laser, and he's taken some time out here at the end of the week to kind of talk about why you might consider purchasing, say, a fiber laser, a CO2 laser, or any of their other products, and what it can do to add to your business. Thanks, Fred. I appreciate you doing this interview.
Of course.
So let's start out first with tell me a little bit about SA Laser and why someone would, come to you and what kind of products you guys have.
Sure. I mean, SA Laser, we started as engravers almost 11 years ago now, out of a passion for firearms. And I discovered lasers and I kind of put two and two together and like, hey, we could do this and customize guns with it. And started the experimenting and it's just been, coming up with these techniques. And yeah, it was really focused on the firearms business. And then eventually it turned into a business where people were asking so many questions like, hey, what kind of laser is this? And we said, if you want to buy the same lasers that we use, and we'll train you. That's where it kind of switched from being an engraving shop to a school. So what makes us special and different is not that we have just great hardware. It really is the combined years of experience. We were talking about making mistakes earlier.
Yeah.
All the mistakes that we've made over the years, and we teach you all the techniques so that you don't make those mistakes. So that you can come within 5 days and have value for the fact that within 5 days you're gonna go home and you're gonna start making money from day one. And that's what really, SA Laser is about, is to accompany you on your journey to learn engraving, from the teaching to the support. We even, talk about anything that you guys want to talk about. We can help with business, advice on social media marketing, anything really.
Yeah.
But that's why SA Laser is different. It really, the focus is not on the machine. The machines, of course, have to be good. They have to be consistent, and they have to never break down. But the most important is just understanding the machine, knowing the settings, understanding and knowing the techniques, so that you can, as soon as you get home, start making money for day one. That's where the real value is.
You mentioned the machine itself, so let's talk about that. A lot of people will look up SA Laser and get a little sticker shock when they see the price compared to some of those other lasers that are out there. And you'll hear people that own those lasers say, "Oh, that's overpriced." They're all Chinese, whatever. So
Sure.
Let's talk about the difference between, say, your laser and the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 lasers that are out there.
Well, there's a difference in business strategy too. You could look at it and say, okay, the laser is $15,000, or you could look at it as saying, the package, which is the laser, the training, the support for years to come, the access to design files, and having somebody answer your call at any time of the day, is included in that package. So it's more of a business success package than it is the laser itself is worth,
Absolutely.
X number of dollars. Now, as far as components themselves, we were talking earlier about the example of when you build a custom computer, and if you use the same case, and to the untrained eye, somebody could say, well, that's the same computer. One may have a $1,600 graphics card and the latest motherboard and CPU combo, the other might not. Personally, we use the QB series from Raycus, which is extremely stable. And what I really like about it is the consistency and delivery. So like the joules output is going to be the same. And like we had talked about when you have 1,000 customers and you're constantly releasing new settings, it's important to know that it's going to work for all 1,000 customers every single time. A cheaper laser with cheaper power supplies is going to give you some fluctuations. It's going to be more sensitive to even environmental factors like heat, cold, humidity, to where you may not get the exact same result when you try to do 2 or 3 or 4 different engravings. So yeah, having top of the line power supplies that are always going to deliver the same voltage to the source, having a source that's going to deliver every single time the same joules output. I really like the fact that the marking laser is driven through the same fiber optic. It's not a separate signal, so that it's always lined up with your beam delivery. Also, those are little pluses that we have value for. But the bottom line is to build as stable. That's the most important, as stable of a machine, so that that I mean, we've been in business 11 years, so we have lasers out there and they're still kicking butt. 11 years later. We have people, I was taking the example of Will in Florida, that's got 48 lasers and they work 2 shifts. And sometimes if you have a big order from Glock, they'll run 3 shifts and those lasers get 0 rest. They work 24/7 and don't break down. If they do, it's very rare. It's usually, a galvo head, which we have in stock. We can overnight and they're back in business. They actually stock a couple extras.
If you get the opportunity to come to SA Laser, you guys have a great facility here. You have classrooms set up. You have multiple lasers in the classrooms, with great instructors. I had Anthony, there's Jacob. They're great instructors that are going to, basically sit there hands-on, small class. I mean, your max class size 6-to-1 or something like that, right?
Most, yeah.
So you get a lot of, really that direct hands-on knowledge,
and you need it too. I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes because people don't understand, it's like I don't want to have to come there all the way. But now that you've gone through it, wouldn't you agree it'd be very difficult?
Oh, absolutely. And because I followed, I followed the instructions exactly, and something would go wrong, and
that something could be just you having a nervous tick and clicking on your mouse one time.
Yeah.
Right, and you're outside the design, it throws the whole sequence off completely.
Exactly. So, inverting a picture when you shouldn't have, things like that, and focus. I listen. If you ever get an SA laser, I can't tell you how important focus is and how many times I forgot it this week. But the that direct, within the first hour and a half of being here, we were already starting to engrave. So it's not like you're just sitting there doing book work for days before you you're literally touching the laser right away. You're working on the laser that you're going to be, going home with, if not the actual laser, although they did give me that option, but the same exact laser that you're going to be working on, the same software. And I've noticed since being here this week how innovative SA Laser is. And I don't mean with just your products, but, while we're in class, the instructors are, hey, I want to try working on this. I'm trying to get the settings down for example, with fiber, Anthony this week was working on leather, trying to get good, consistent results on leather. And, and wood and things like that. And one thing I really appreciate is that you guys don't put anything out until you get those consistent, repeatable results that people can follow,
For sure.
So.
Yeah, no, everybody here, you've got to know most of these people. We're all like gun nuts. We love firearms, and we love what we do, and we're pretty creative. So yeah, if you look, John next door right now is trying a whole new technique for engraving, which is essentially, taking a ceramic base coating, which we've already done the proof of concept, but is refining it. But you're pretty much coating your parts. Then you laser down to aluminum, extremely intricate. The finer, the better. And then you take it to anode, and the anodizers will go. And when you do that, it will only anodize the
exposed aluminum.
So imagine like the most intricate, the most insanely complicated stencil. That how would you do that by hand?
Yeah.
And you're able to do that actually extremely quickly, because all you're doing is blowing off the coating, exposing the metal, which only takes a couple passes. So on like a A300 shotgun receiver, which is what he's doing right now, you're talking about 6 minutes per size. and you have the most intricate engraving with the most perfect contrast of black. This one is going to happen to be cadmium, so it's a very silverish, with some glisten to it. Beautiful color. And then he's taking it to anodizing Monday, and then we're going to see what that looks like. I've done it before, but it was with Cerakote. This one we're trying with KG gun coat because their metallics are a little bit more vibrant. So we wanted to see the difference with that. But yeah, we're constantly just messing around, trying new things. You know, I mean, did you see the diamond setting?
Yeah. That was really
pretty cool.
I saw that one at NRA. That was neat. One thing you brought up Cerakoting, and you know, this week I learned how much of a good pairing Cerakote with laser is, and the ability to Cerakote multiple colors onto something and then laser off just specific colors. That blew my mind, first off, learning that, you know. And for those of you that are already Cerakoting or thinking about Cerakoting, most Cerakoters are using stencils. They're putting stencils on. And you just mentioned a minute ago, the detail that you can get with a laser, you can't get with a stencil. You know, you can't create something because it would just blow off. It would fall off. It would, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you were trying to cut a .01 line with a plotter, it would pull it. It's just too close. Both cuts are too close to one another. There's no way the vinyl would stay. So there is a limitation. And then your mental sanity too. I mean, trying to read something like that. Shit, it's there's no way. And I mean,
now there are use cases for stencils versus lasers.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, big camo patterns probably easier.
Absolutely.
You know, but
well, you can do a 4-color camo out of 1 color.
Yeah, and I saw your NRA gun with the NRA logo. That's crazy. You know, being able to do something like that. You don't think of Cerakoting in layers and removing layers, but
well, and to be fair, it's, you know, the way the applicator lays is Cerakote has a lot to do with it, right? If you have a new guy that is not really consistent, I mean, the layer has to be pretty even because you're removing a very specific thickness of coating. So if it's thicker on one side, obviously one will reveal itself before the other. So everything has to be right. But I mean, there's a synergy between just any coatings and laser engraving, and the state of the industry is such that you almost have to have both now.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go to a shop, they say, well, I want this done. They say, well, I only Cerakote or I only laser engrave.
Yeah, I noticed on Cerakote's website, they actually have a whole section now devoted to laser-friendly Cerakotes. That if you don't have a laser and you're Cerakoting, you basically completely eliminating that entire ability that you'd have for your firearm.
So. Absolutely. I mean, it's just another tool in your toolbox. It's just another avenue for revenue, and it's a way to stay competitive too. You know, you almost have to. I mean, it's funny because you look at literally 15 years ago, nobody had a laser at an FFL. Today, people will walk into an FFL and just assume and say, I need this engraved. So, you know, there's definitely a need that's been recognized, that's proven there. And there's plenty of work. There's plenty of work for everyone, and to just continue to innovate. I mean, there's only so much you can do. This was just one of those tools that kind of unlocked the next step in creativity on what could be done, you know, when we went from just plain guns to Cerakote and that laser engraved, not both. And then the interaction, you know, color change, layers, color fills, negative, anodizing.
So let's talk about the different lasers and the capabilities of each one of those lasers. So I purchased a fiber laser because I want to work. The majority of my work will be done on firearms, and so let's talk about what types of materials can a fiber laser, and then we'll move on from there.
Sure. So what's important to note is there's 2 totally different technologies. When you're comparing CO2 and you're comparing fiber, totally different wavelength of light. So one is 1064 nanometer, the other is 10,640. So it's not that one brand laser can do this material but not the other. It's just the technology itself on what reacts to that beam of light at that frequency in that focus, right?
Okay.
So a fiber laser, any fiber laser, will work on high carbon content. So it'll do metals, anything that has, you know, polymers that have carbon. But there are ways to also do glass and wood and leather, but those are trips. It was not designed for that. Those are workarounds that
I
we
heard
found.
one of the other students was mentioning putting cheap aluminum foil over glass to allow you to etch the glass. And, like you said, that you could do wood, but not all wood,
But you have to do it off focus. So you have to dilute your beam so that instead of ablating, you're stacking heat and then carbonizing. Whereas the laser just wants to obliterate and just evaporate metal. By removing focus, it's no longer removing metal, but the heat is still absorbed by the metal. So you get colors. With wood, you would get charring, purple color. Same thing with leather. But those are tricks. See, like even with leather, certain dyes will react better than others. So it's not just about the leather, it's also about the dye, the content of the dye, the color of the dye.
The focus for a fiber would be some polymers and metals, which is going to make up the majority of firearms.
That's just bread and butter. You can do a ton of stuff with that because it's all metal, titanium, aluminum, all grades of steel.
CO2 we would get into for the woods things, and when we were going through the like firearms and finishes and engraving, they used the CO2 as an example for checkering, using it to create checkering and
so the CO2 is going to do more organic material, so it'll do leather. It'll do wood, but it also do glass. It'll do acrylic. Where a fiber, the beam is so thin, it doesn't see it. It just goes right through it. It doesn't bounce off of it. The CO2 is thick enough that it'll bounce and create a burn and ablate. So wood, leather, bone, paints, coatings, some plastics do better. The plastic that have less carbon will do better with the CO2 than a fiber. So if within your polymer blend you have more fiberglass than you do carbon, then the CO2 may work a little bit better. That's why the P80, if you remember, those were notoriously difficult to do with a fiber because of the recipe they use for that polymer. But the CO2 could do it. So it's usually where one stops is where the other one takes over. But within the firearms world, the applications for CO2, it's other sales too. It's merchandise, like doing Yeti cups, doing coasters, doing.
That was something I didn't even factor in when I purchased this laser. Is your own promotional material? Your own business cards, your own Yeti mugs and things like that, patches, stuff that you can make yourself that you're no longer purchasing from somebody else. Because you're saving that money.
Because of exactly what you were saying earlier, you were talking about people walk in and they'll ask and you have to say no. When people know you're engraving, they firearm guy know what you're going to do with it, but there's a lot of people that'll just assume that you engrave. Just doing Yeti cups during the Christmas season, even in a small market or even a high competitive market, it's not unusual for people to do 20, 30 grand just from November to January for that whole Christmas season. So it's a great filler, in your productivity. Like sometimes comes in and they say, hey, I need 20 cups for my soccer team, or I need for the office party or for Christmas or whatever. And you charge 10 to 20 bucks, depends if you're coding or you're not coding, but it's a 5-minute job that you can do like super fast, that make you money and that keep a customer going to just one place for everything. But I mean, there's a ton. We do checkering on gun stocks, on 1911 grips, anything, leather, holsters. When we find a plastic that's just not cooperating with the fiber, just because, we don't get access to every recipe of polymer. So, sometimes you do a test, it's not working. It's like, oh, let's try it on the CO2. Usually if it doesn't work on fiber, it'll work on CO2. It's a great tool to have. And then it's other stuff that's non-firearms related. There's ladies that make, my wife told me, we need to make Christmas ornament. I was like, nah, that's not my thing. I'm a gun guy. And then I started seeing how much, especially when you look at, the really large format CO2s where you can put a full 4x8 sheet.
Yeah.
You got people that are making 140 Christmas ornament per sheet of a piece of birch plywood that's costing you $14.
Yeah.
So they got 10 cents in each one and they sell them for $5-6 with their last name on it. And some people, one of our clients, Bonnie, she did some with dogs, like the most popular breeds of dog, and she'll have a little cutout of that dog and the name of the dog, and they'll sell them for $10.
Yeah.
They literally have 10 cents. It's just your time. But once you have a template set and you have it set up, it's just a matter of dropping names and let the laser do the work. You come back an hour later, you got 140 Christmas ornaments that you sell for $10 each. You just made $1,400 with a $14 cost, and it's just your time. So I mean, it's just
Which is another way to get your business out. Even if you're trying to focus on firearms, getting your business out there in other ways so that people think of you when it comes to getting the firearm.
And there's other things too. I mean, I love to make jigs with my CO2. So, when we have a contract and we need to engrave whatever, 1,000 receivers, I'll make jigs out of foam where I can put 16 receivers in a tray and they fit perfect.
Yeah.
I even done a jig out of acrylic for bus covers for AR-15s, where I could just put them in and I sandwich between two pieces of acrylic a lever, so when they were done, I would just push it and it would pop them out to get the other ones in. I mean, if you're a fabricator at heart, it's an amazing machine because you can do all kinds of templates, all kinds of jigs.
I'm already sold. I've been saying it all week because the two classrooms are next to each other. That it's only a matter of time before I'm back up here for the CO2, just so that you don't, we talked about it before, but when a customer comes to you, they don't know the difference between the different types of lasers. And so they'll come in, the first thing they'll ask is, so you can do that, can you do this too? And, if you don't have both lasers, then there's going to be times that you're going to say no,
For sure.
and so adding that secondary laser,
And honestly, it's with the CO2, it's a little easier. Even it's a different clientele, right? It's more like the Etsy crowd, but there's application. Do you see that big giant decorative wall I did by the office?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was $45, right? I mean, any lawyer's office, any
I'll put a
reception.
picture of that right now, what we're talking about.
I mean, you could go in business just doing backdrops for people's offices and make just beautiful stuff for dirt cheap. But the value perception is such that people would easily pay $800 to $1,200 to get something really nice with LEDs and everything. I mean, you just don't know. Just because you start with firearms, everybody comes in and they're like that, and then next thing you know, you pick up a contract because somebody needs an OEM housing for something, and they don't want to do an injection mold because that's going to cost them 80 grand just to do a run of 1,000, right? So now they just do a blank with a nameplate. So when they need to OEM for someone, they just send it to us for laser. We charge them like $6, and that's like a night vision housing, for example.
Yeah.
We charge them $6. They're thrilled because they don't need 500. It's 3 grand to them. It saved them 57 grand on the new injection mold.
Yeah.
And the client is happy and we're happy. Everybody makes money.
There were two other gentlemen in the course with me, and both of them brought kind of something unique to the table. One of them, first off, didn't own an SA laser and wasn't purchasing an SA laser. He owned a different aftermarket laser. I don't remember the brand. But he was here specifically for the training. So, I mean, that says something about your training that people are coming here that don't even own the SA laser. So,
I mean, that's undeniable. That's really our claim to fame is we don't really sell lasers. We sell success in laser engraving. I think you can testify having experience for yourself. We have a genuine vested interest in you succeeding because we don't really advertise other than social media. We don't really pay for advertising. We do pretty good with social media, but it's 100% word of mouth. You do well, you're going to tell people, and that's how this business has grown. There's never been a marketing push. We've never made promises that we can't keep. We just promise that we're going to be there to help you. We're going to teach you all the basics, everything. There's no question that you've asked that somebody said, I can't answer that, or I'm not going to tell you that that's a secret. No,
or I'll help you figure it out,
Yeah. No, I mean.
So the other gentleman that was in the class already owned an SA fiber laser and was here to purchase the SA CO2 laser.
Right.
And again, that right there is a testament that he found value enough in the first laser to come back and purchase a second laser.
Oh, for sure.
But it's exactly what you said. He came here because of firearms, because he had an FFL. He wanted to do this, but saw the additional value of adding the other products to his to the ability to sell and everything else. Again, that's a testament to you don't know where this business will take you.
You don't.
So.
It's a good surprise too. Like people can't believe it. Like I remember when Tyler told me, "I just got an elevator contract," and I was like, "That's awesome, dude. We told you like you just firearms, firearms, firearms." But like by day 3 or 4, you start looking around the room. It's like, "Oh, I can engrave that. I can engrave that." You know, like,
Yeah.
and that's when you realize, oh, there's a lot more to this than just firearms. But there's easy pickings, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And firearms is a proven business. We know it works. I mean, 98.2% success rate on our graduates. 98.2% of the people that we've trained are still in business today. They pay for their laser and they're making money.
Yeah.
When you look at the industry, you go on Craigslist and you search laser or marketplace, there's a bunch for sale. You're not going to see ours for sale because our people make money. And the difference is not the laser. And people focus so much on that. It's actually too bad because the tripping over dollars to save pennies, because the secret is make money from the get-go early so that by year 1 you already paid for your laser 3 times over.
So let's talk about the aftercare of once you purchase the laser.
Yeah.
So first off, when you purchase a laser, included in the price of the laser is the week's worth of training that down here, you come down here, get a hotel, you know, whatever. You guys provide lunch each day, and you know, it's a full day. It's you know, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., you know, training throughout the day, sometimes a little early, sometimes a little late, but you're basically whatever works. And then, but afterwards, so, you know, the laser ship this week. So when I get home, it should be there, you know, relatively shortly after I get home. And, you know, I spent this week ordering all the engravable practice stuff. So when I get there, I'll be ready to rock.
Nice.
But what can I expect from SA Laser moving forward?
I mean, what you can expect. I mean, I can show you my phone. I'm the owner of the company, and I can go to my messages right now, and I can show you that there's people that have come to train 8, 9 years ago, and once in a while I'll get a message at 11 p.m. I said, "Fred, drawing a blank. Remind me again. How do I do this?" And I'll text right back, and our staff does that. I mean, we literally answer our phone just about 24/7, sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
But we have that kind of relationship where people come here and they do feel like they're part of the family, and they do feel this connection to the trainers and to the staff. And I think hopefully you've experienced that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it continues and it's very informal. I mean, we have a support system. You can go online, you log a ticket, you put your question, we get it right away. If it doesn't get answered within an hour, then it gets passed to another person. So it'll get to you. But people feel so connected. Like sometimes they just message us on our personal phones, and we still do it. And that's the kind of company and that's the kind of commitment that you're going to see.
So you're not going to get from Cheng Chao China or whatever you know.
No, it's me, it's Seth, it's Steven, it's Shane, it's Anthony, it's Jordan, it's Matt, it's Ryan, it's whoever's available. And you know, that day they usually like, we believe in, I mean, you have to have system because we're getting, you know, a little bit bigger of a company. So we have to stay organized and nobody falls through the cracks, because sometimes they reach out to somebody personally. That person doesn't answer and they say, "Well, I reached out to SA Laser and they didn't reply." Yeah, but you message Anthony at 2 a.m, you know, and Anthony totally forgot the next day, you know.
Yeah.
We do have systems in place, and those are exceptions to the rule, but 99.9% of the time, you know, and I'm sure he's told you, like, if it's your first time doing that gun and you're not 100% and you want somebody to double check everything before you press go, just call us. We'll do just a quick video, and I got this, I got that, I check my focus. Okay, well, show me your line spacing. You know, until you develop that confidence on your own, we're there even for that. I mean, it's way beyond just training and support. Like, we want to make sure that you're going to be good, because like I said, that's how we grow. Like, anytime somebody has a good experience, they share it with people. That's how we've grown.
Sorry, our battery died. I have no idea where it died, somewhere in our long conversation. I just wanted to make sure that before we close this out, that give Fred the opportunity, you know, to kind of, you know, explain a little bit more why your school versus some of the other online schools, or, you know, there's some people at different Facebook groups that'll say, "Hey, I can teach you the laser," or whatever.
Sure.
What would you say your strongest benefit is to attending SA Laser, you know, Academy, if we will, here, versus, you know, Joe Blow laser teaching?
Of course.
You know,
You're learning from the collective knowledge of people that have engraved more guns than anybody in the world. That's a fact. We've made most of the mistakes. We have a system, a training that is extremely well organized to make sure that we touch on everything. Somebody can sure take you into their home, teach you the little they know, but I would challenge you to ask them, show me your success.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you the authority? Like, show me how successful you are that you're going to pass this on to me. And honestly, like, we've had a couple of people that they came to train here just to turn around and try to start a business teaching what we taught. But again, like, what are your sales? Show me success. What have you done? What resources do you have? Because I mean, there's a lot of people that have tried to sell lasers, but and I've had clients that bought lasers from them, and then they'll go and they'll call us to fix them because these guys went out of business.
I noticed I mean, a big difference for you guys is your training on the lasers that you're selling versus these other trainers are training on whatever laser you bought. They're not, it's not, I'm not going to name off the other laser companies, but it's not them doing the training. It's other random third party people doing the training. So the settings of your lasers, the dimensions of your lasers, to a T off the top of your head, from memory, and have those settings available to the students and the people that purchase these. Yeah.
So we have an online resource. I don't know if you've seen the Laserhead site.
Yeah. I actually signed up yesterday.
Yeah, so. And it's I mean, most of it is free. There's some premium features if you want to, but that's where all the designs live. That's where the latest techniques get posted, and it's a place to discuss with fellow engravers. Also, ask questions. Sometimes we answer first. Sometimes people answer before we do. But yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell you that your experience with the gentleman that came that has another laser, but that's here just to take the class, that's happened quite a few times. Obviously, we prefer that they use our laser because we have the confidence of knowing that the results will be consistent. And I'm not even exaggerating. I would say 70% of the people that do come, they end up buying our laser because, like, you know what? I've just invested this. I see the potential. I'm not going to take a chance. I'll just buy yours. So that's happened a lot of times. But where I'm going with this, like Richard Elric and people that have come and done that and given us feedback, they said that they took online classes and they did that and they were just frustrated to no end because there's no way that you can cover everything online remotely, or they'll charge them $100 for an hour and then ask any questions. It's people don't know what question to ask though. Yeah. Like you're the one that has to guide them through that process to understand that, okay, what do you need to master first? What do you build on next? What's important. I mean, you've seen it. There's so many little intangibles of, the auto rotation and the line spacing and switching your focus if you're trying to get a black mark. There's so many little things like that can only be done in person. Even catching, like I said, an extra click of the mouse outside. Like if you don't have somebody there to see it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would challenge you. Like, do you want to learn from the best, or do you want to learn from somebody that's proven that this is a viable business model that makes money, and then learn from them, or do you want to learn from somebody that didn't do too good as an engraver? Say, well, I'll just teach you, and that's what 90% of it is, and so, it don't last very long, unfortunately.
We've kind of hinted and talked a little bit about the money, and I don't want to get into the price just because it might be different by the time somebody watches the video, but I do want to talk about financing. A lot of people think, oh, they have to come up with, $15,000 or whatever. I didn't. I was able to finance through. You guys gave me several different companies to go through.
Let's talk about that because we actually have data. Like 2 years ago, we did a survey with all of our clients, and as for motivation, we said, there's going to be a random drawing of everybody that filled out the survey, and you're going to get a brand new laser. So everybody participated, which was fantastic. And we asked a lot of very personal questions. How long have you had your laser? How many months did it take you? Are you part-time? Are you full-time? What are your sales year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4? So we have a ton of data that show your return on investment and how quickly. So for average part-time person, right, like a firefighter that's got like 3 days off in a row, and that's what they like to do on the side, or police officers that are transitioning out, they're starting to work on it on the evenings. The average time to repair the machine was 6 months. For the full-time people, it was 3.5 months. So it shows you, it seems like a lot, but think about how long it's going to take you to pay for that $6,000 laser with no training. and it's a lot longer than that. And by the end of the year, when you look at the net profits of, you know, getting there to finally starting to get some business because you have a comfort level and making money paying off your laser, this is way further down the line, where a guy that came and trained with us on an average by year one part-time was making about $45,000. And then full-time is in the high 60s, and then by year two in the 90s.
There you go.
We have tons of data that support that. I know that people get hung up on the price, but like you said, there are financing options to sometimes, if you have an established business, you can get in with almost no money down at all.
Yeah.
Or if some, you know, a little bit questionable, you may have to put $2,000. But I mean, what franchise are you going to buy for $2,000 with a proven track record with 98.2% success rate?
Where you're putting out things like this, you know, I mean, how much cooler of a business is it than
And you do what you love every day.
Yeah,
And just, I mean, we haven't even talked about motorcycle parts. Like
at car parts, there was people working on mufflers, things like that.
Motorcycle parts, everybody comes here, they want to do guns. And when I used to teach the classes, and I still do once in a while, I would tell people about motorcycles. Like, nobody wants to spend the time to invest in it, but if anybody did, they would make a killing. The motorcycle guys just love customizing their bikes. They all have the same Harley, but they all want it to be completely different. So clutch covers, side view mirrors, I've engraved heads, I've engraved gas caps, I've engraved all kinds of stuff. And they are, I mean, over the moon when they see it. It's just amazing. But you have to be careful, because with Harley you can't use their logos, but you can still do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that alone, if somebody was to dedicate themselves to even just doing clutch covers, customized clutch covers on Amazon, they would make a killing. You could do a business out of just making 1911 grips. I mean, look how incredible this is. Like,
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I can put my initials or my family crest or whatever for $100 and have a gun that nobody else has.
Yeah.
You know, if you really pushed it, we don't, because we're not trying to compete with other people. We're here to teach. Yeah. We still engrave to stay relevant on social media and to show what we do. But we're not trying to compete. We don't say, send us your engravings. That's not what we do. But yeah. There's so much more.
Don't send me your engravings. Well, thank you very much, Fred. I appreciate this conversation. I appreciate the training and the hospitality of your entire staff.
Thank you.
I do see the value added in adding it to my business, and hopefully, you know, those of you guys watching this, you see the value added. If you own an SA laser and you're watching this, you know, leave a comment below on you know what your experience was, and I appreciate you guys. As always. So thanks a lot, Fred.
Yeah,
thanks for everything.
Talking to you.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully you found that helpful. I really did enjoy my time down with SA Laser in San Antonio doing that training. The staff there was awesome, and I've had to call them several times with, you know, questions or, you know, settings concerns or just anything that I had going on, questions about projects or whatever else. They've always been very helpful. So I guess the number one question is, should you buy a fiber laser? Well, actually, that's kind of up to you. I hate telling customers no. And with the laser, the list of customization options that you can say yes to drastically increases. In addition to that, I have been able to utilize this laser on several non-firearm related items to make money as well. You know, whether that was promotional materials or gifts or whatever. I worked with one company that just has me laser engraving some stainless steel for a machine that they're making. So the second question is, should you buy an SA laser? And, you know, or should you buy some other laser out there? Well, I don't regret my purchase. This laser is a near guaranteed moneymaker, especially if you're motivated and you really put yourself out there. The training that they provide was outstanding. It was, you know, world class. They had a very nice setup and everything else. If you have to make the decision, you know, I just say do whatever is best for you. For me, that was SA Laser. I would do it again if I was to go back. So I hope to eventually add their CO2 laser to my repertoire. So If you have an SA Laser, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about their training, what you think about the machine, and everything else. If you have a different laser, also let me know about that. Let everybody else know about that. Where did you get your training? How did you learn how to use it? Do you regret purchasing your laser or anything else? I want to just say, hey, thanks for watching. If you made it this far in the video, do me a favor, throw a vote for me in at the 2026 Gundy Awards. I was nominated for Micro Influencer of the Year, which is just crazy. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.